Ebel checking in here, and I want to help you choose your doctor, the best doctor for your kids and your family. And we actually should start, before we get into the three things, the three criteria, the three discussions I'd have with these doctors to make sure they're the right ones for your family, is I actually should start with this. You do get to choose. Now, this is something kind of new for this generation of parents or this generation of healthcare. We all kind of, most of us, especially my generation of parents, we kind of just probably, if you live in the same town, you probably still actually go to the pediatrician, or at least that practice that you went to as a kid. Everything in healthcare for many generations, when it comes to choosing a doctor for our child, has really been by default. And if you know how, decisions made by default typically go, they don't always go the way that we want them to go. And right now, for that generation or two before this, since the pediatrician, that drug-free, treat symptoms, here's a drug for this, here's a drug for that, here's a drug for this, since that was the general choice for the vast majority of families to be the doctor for their kiddo, because, well, actually, I'm kind of ahead. We're missing, the general pediatrician and family medical doctor misses these three things in a pretty big way. We've led up to having more sick kids, more stressed kids than ever before. So the first thing I just want to say is you do have a choice. You can take a completely different path for healthcare for your family. You can choose to go after things naturally and drug-free first. And the first choice you would probably really want to lean into in order to make sure you get on that healthy, build up health, build adaptability, build resiliency, build natural health, not need a drug all the time sort of healthcare, is making the right choice for the doctor for your child and for your family. So here's the three things that I certainly, with our four kiddos, man, if there's a doctor on our team, I'm telling you, my dentist does these three things. I know we're thinking like, okay, pediatrician, pediatric chiropractor, kind of that general doctor sort of choice, but I'm telling you, there is nobody on our team that takes care of our kids that doesn't know these three things, do these three things to the T. So let me get into them. Okay, number one thing you want to look for in the doctor for your child and your family is a doctor who listens intently and does a deep dive with you to find the root cause or causes of why your child is really sick. Now, kind of a long one there in the sentence. Listening intently is not what you always get. It's at least what parents tell us. It's not what they always get from their traditional doctors, right? A lot of times, the way the traditional system, the westernized kind of healthcare system is set up is it's a pretty dictator-style healthcare system. There isn't a lot of listening. There isn't a lot of with you. I said those words in there. Partnering is how we look at it. We partner with parents to dive deep into the case history and really say, hey, mom, hey, dad, you were with them through pregnancy, through labor and delivery, through the birth trauma if it's there, through the time when they were colicky, through their first ear infection, through their first cold, through their first flu, through their first meltdown, through their first, gross motor delay. You've been with them the whole time. So if a doctor doesn't know to dive deep with you, you can also kind of look at it through you and ask these really, really deep questions. That doctor is not gonna have a chance to get to the root cause. And what I'm really saying with this one is you want a doctor who knows and has their entire goal to get to the root cause. Well, this is step one to be able to do that, is to dive deep with you and listens. So that's really the magic word here. A doctor who listens and partners with you instead of just talks and tells you what to do. So that's what you're looking for in the first move here. Number two, this one's going to get nerdy here in a sec. Do they know neurology? Okay. Now, obviously you would think, oh, they're a doctor. What do you guys study? Like, what do you guys go through? Well, the truth of the matter is, if you really look at the different facets of healthcare, the different options, a traditional medical doctor and on the medical side of the fence, they know a lot about chemistry and pharmacology and symptomatology and pathology. So a medical doctor is designed to take care of sickness and illness. So what they know a lot about is symptoms and the expression of that. Actual neurodevelopment, and I'm not just the one that would probably, kind of interpret things this way. I've spent a lot of my life helping out the early intervention, special needs, birth to 3 community, PTs, OTs, real experts in neurology, and really what I would say is neurodevelopment or neurofunction. We know that the general average doctor doesn't really have that down pat and doesn't really know it in detail. So what you really want is a doctor who understands neurology to the T. Now I'm going to split a few more hairs before I finish this one up. You really want them to understand neurodevelopment and the motor milestones for your child, and not just saying, hey, did they hit them or not? Not just a chart on the wall. Hey, your kid's 12 months and they should have been doing this. The most important thing with motor milestones and just developmental milestones as a whole is like literally putting it on by their birthday or their age is one of the most dangerous, because it just gets the wrong information sometimes, useless sort of ways of taking care of a child. What you really need to understand is neurology happens in a certain sequence, in a certain order. Neurodevelopment, motor milestones, just developmental milestones are less about the calendar and did they happen on time, and more about did they happen in order. And so when you have a doctor who really understands developmental neurology, they would know that, and they'll help you find out, hey, is your kiddo, are they on track? Everything okay? Or do we need to make these moves to improve your child's neurology? Because neurology controls everything. And that's really the key. The nervous system is the boss. It's the mom of the family. The nervous system controls the gut and motility and absorption and elimination and detoxification. The nervous system controls the immune system, modulates inflammation. The nervous system controls the hormones, thyroid, endocrine, adrenals. The nervous system controls the muscles, motor. The nervous system controls our prefrontal cortex and our amygdala and our hippocampus, so emotions and behavior and cognition and focus. The nervous system is the boss, and so the doctor who's going to be in charge of your child's healthcare needs to know neurology to the T. Not kind of, sort of, all the way. Pediatric trained chiropractors, especially our PX Docs Network, and those that are, in our practice, know it literally like the back of their hand, and then some. Number 3, we'll finish this with this one. When you're choosing a doctor for your child, ask them this: do you play well with others in the playground, right? So kind of a pediatric little pun on that one here. Do they get along with others? Do they play well? Do they make friends easily? Do they partner with other professionals? The one thing, especially the way God has called me to the work I get to do with what we call perfect storm cases. So a lot of tough stuff, autism and seizures and TBI, special needs. Certainly them having incredible PTs and OTs and speech and language pathologists, and having an incredible nurse practitioner or pediatrician who is integrated, holistic, understands neurology and nutrition, having all these other professionals, ABA team on their team, counselors, psychologists, is crucial to the health and well-being of these kids, because they each have their own specialty, right? And that's a good thing. You want a team of healthcare professionals. There's got to be, there needs to be that one doc or that one person who is really kind of got the headset on and is the quarterback, right? So we're kind of in football season as I make this video. You do have to have someone who helps keep everything coordinated and organized. And that's really what I would look for with the doctor too, is do they have the experience in doing that? And do they have the willingness in doing that? And are they open-minded and empathetic and awesomely connected and collaborative with other providers? Or do they try and kind of control the situation and keep tunnel vision? Too much of healthcare, for our kids especially, is in silos instead of threaded and woven together. So those are the 3 things to look for in your child's doctor, in your family's doctor. Do they listen and dive deep with you? Do they partner with you to find the root cause and get a drug-free, solutions-oriented plan that really gets your child healing? Number 2, to get that plan to really get healing, you got to get to the nervous system, because that's the root where most of children's illnesses and challenges are coming from. So number 2 is, do they know neurology? And number 3, do they work well with others and really help you have a stronger team to help your child out? That's what we love to do, is really help parents, yes, learn things, yes, be able to make the good decisions, and then get into the actions to get the results of healthy, happy, vibrant, adaptable, resilient kids. And so get a doctor who knows all about neurology, resiliency, adaptability, partnering with you, and I promise you, you'll have transformative results once you choose just that right doctor who can help put that right plan and the right actions in place for your family. God bless, be well, see you on the next one.